Good morning, friends. Today, I want to talk about something that gets thrown around and bad advice given all the time. And I'm not a hater at all, but we need to talk about mindless scrolling and the comparison that follows. So, if you are an artist, and I know so many of you are, whether that's photography, interior design, graphic art, whatever, and you're sharing your work, you can probably relate to today's episode. So let's get started. Hey friend, welcome to Deep Healing for Creative Entrepreneurs. My name is Aubrey and I am a subconscious release technique practitioner and photography business owner. I know you are sick of ending your day feeling overwhelmed and exhausted, and you are seeking a solution to help you feel creatively inspired and actively engaged in your business as well as personal life. In this podcast, we are going to dig into any limiting beliefs or subconscious programs that are keeping you in a space filled with anxiety and stress. This work is not a temporary solution for your life. No, this is a complete transformation. So grab your coffee or tea and let's start you on the road to healing. And let me just say, you can do this. You are worth it. And you are meant to thrive in life and business. So let's dig in. I probably don't have to go through what mindless scrolling is, because I'm pretty sure that everybody does that at some point in their life or even day. But it's basically when you're just scrolling along and you're not really attentive to what's going on. You're just kind of wasting time. Maybe you have 5 minutes to kill. Maybe you're on the toilet. I'm not judging, but this is what happens. People just keep scrolling, and next thing you know, you're upset. Well, why are you upset? Because you probably saw something that kind of, quote, triggered you. So I hear all the time from people, like this has been the go-to in groups that I have been a student in communities that I've been just another person in there, like a photography community. I always hear this and they're like, hey, what you need to do is stop scrolling. Or maybe you have to unfollow those people. So don't be their friend, or, you can block them or whatever it takes just so you don't see their work. Or just don't follow anybody that's in the same industry as you. So I personally hate the last one the most, but I use the word hate very loosely. But I mean, how can you ever build a community when you decide not to be in contact with anybody in that community except for yourself, right? I feel like all of these are just simply band-aids. And I know if you guys have been hanging around me long enough, you know how much I dislike band-aids as a general rule. I mean, I just love to get down to the nitty-gritty of what's really going on so that you can fix the problem and not fix the symptom. So if you are just scrolling along on your Facebook, let's say, and you see someone's work that automatically makes you feel an emotional response, you have a really, really good opportunity to dig into that instead of ignoring it or blocking the person or whatever it is you think that you're supposed to do. Because when we can let go of what we're supposed to do and do what's really going to benefit ourselves, we will find ourselves in better situations all the time. So this is a really good time just to take a minute and sit with it. What is going on in my head when I see this come up? Because you may think that you're putting a lot of emphasis on this one little thing, but in reality, it's an opportunity, and your body's giving you a signal to take that opportunity to figure out what is really going on in your head. Because that subconscious mind, man, when it can run away with these thoughts like, well, I'll never be that good, or, they just always get all the opportunities. And, I can't even find anybody to book me right now, or whatever it could be. So for the sake of you being able to do something in that moment, I'm going to give you some tips about what you should do and give you a few prompts around the questions maybe that you should be asking. Okay, so first off, you can always pray. you can always meditate, and you can always journal. Those are three very easy things, okay? Now, to meditate means to become one with. So that's really the definition of what you want to be inside your mind, right? You really want to become more familiar with what exactly is going on in your head. So that's the perfect way to do it. But maybe it's not a great time for it. And if it's not, for whatever reason, you can't do that right now. Some people believe that it's harder to do. I think people overthink it quite often, but you can always journal, right? That is something that I tend to not do as much, just because I've just grown so accustomed to asking myself certain prompts and getting down to what's really going on so easily. But for you, since you're maybe just starting out with this or trying new things, try to see what works for you. Some good journal prompts could be, let's see, how about, what is going on in my life that makes me feel unworthy or undeserving? That would be a really good one. And just at this point, I would love to mention too that a lot of what you're seeing that's giving you those like kind of triggered emotions is going to be around comparison. Comparison, jealousy, self-criticism, right? Self-judgment, because it's all a mirror of ourselves, all of it. So whatever you see that's quote triggering you. I just don't like that word so much, but I use it because I know that people relate to that and they know what that means. But basically, those emotions are being triggered because of comparison or jealousy. And, you can say all day long, I'm not jealous, I'm not this, I'm not that. But there's something in your mind that is sending a red flag around these things. And it's usually self-criticism. A lot of people feel kind of like where they are in life is not where they would like to be right now. A lot of people have expectations about what they wanted to accomplish by this time. And then when we do accomplish some of that, we tend to downplay the rest and be like, oh, that was just some kind of fluke, or yeah, but I got to do that again every month, or whatever it may be. So we just tend to be harder on ourselves than we are on other people. So really keep that in mind, because on the surface, so many of you will just say, well, that's not really me. I love myself and I'm really nice to myself and whatever. But the subconscious tells a different story. And if you recall, I've talked about it a few episodes, but it's just not logical all the time. It really isn't, right? It's learned experiences. When you fail at something and you take it really hard, your subconscious holds on to those memories as proof that you're not successful, or as proof that you're not going to measure up. So just go at it with an open mind. Always keep an open mind with these things, because there's no reason to be critical of yourself, and there's no reason to place blame on anybody, including yourself. So that's my best advice for that, is to have an open mind when you go to journal this stuff or when you go to meditate, and just take whatever comes. And forgive yourself just as quickly as you can pinpoint what is going on in your head, or the jealousy or anything. Like, just as quick as you find it, you should be learning to forgive yourself with that much energy and backing behind it. So don't allow these things to come to light and then bother you, right? That's also a huge thing. It's like, just let it go. If you've came this far and you're able to pinpoint it and you're able to lay it all out, do a journal about it, whatever, you can just burn the freaking paper. Let's be honest, like, just let it go. It's not serving you anymore, and it's time to let it go. So take a breath in and out. This is like one of those things, one of those lessons that everybody can benefit from, because we do just tend to shy away from those uncomfortable feelings. When you feel triggered, or when you feel like, oh crap, that really ruined my day, like just seeing that or just hearing that or whatever it may be, it just really took me down a notch. That is the biggest opportunity you can have in the day to address it and to heal from it. This is where people always say growing is uncomfortable. So I actually have gotten to the point where I invite those feelings because I'm like, oh, I'm going to freaking tackle this right now. And you can see over time that healing from these small little things that come up is so beneficial long term, because guess what? They don't come up as much. Not only do they not come as much, you are more accepting of people around you and yourself. Like, a lot of self-love comes into play with this. So it's just so important to not squander that opportunity, just to embrace it and say, you know what, I'm going to tackle this. I'm going to see what I can do with it. I know I have a lot of work today, but this is also important because this is me working on myself. I hope that's inspirational to you guys, and I hope it gives you a chance and permission to really dive into what's going on, because I do think that sometimes we just overlook those opportunities and we actually look at them as such a negative thing. But in reality, it's your body and your soul saying, hey, can we take care of this one little issue here? And the more you answer it, the better things go. So if you guys learn anything from me, I just surely hope that it has to do with improving your relationship with yourself and with the creative community as a whole. And if you guys are looking for a way to truly get down to the nitty-gritty and heal all of these things that come up when you're mindlessly scrolling, or when you're feeling judgmental about your work, or when you're feeling unsupported and burnt out from all of the daily activities and still trying to be a mom and still trying to be a wife or whatever, I would love to see you in my program. We cover this like on a weekly basis. We have a new issue that we dig deep into, and they're specific to creative entrepreneurs. So we cover imposter syndrome and creative blocks, money programs, self-love issues. We cover prevention of burnout and just being able to recover from it, what's going on in your head. I mean, every week there's something new that are specific to creatives like us, and we just dig in. It's been so amazing. So I got this email this morning, like just an hour ago, from one of the people in my class, and I wanted to read a small portion of it so that you guys can get an idea of what is going on in there and what the vibe is. So Dina writes, I feel more confident, motivated, clear-minded on what my goals and dreams are, and that I really can create and live my best life. I feel blockages leaving as I work on this program. It's a very empowering program that brings me back to my real whole self and worth the time and investment to elevate my life. Aubrey feels like the best friend I never knew I needed. Laugh out loud. She is very genuinely here for me, and I have never felt so supported. Thank you so much, Dina, from the bottom of my heart. I'm loving this group. I'm loving the relationships we're all building together, and the breakthroughs that everybody is having on their own time and in their own way. Super unique for everyone. So if this speaks to you guys and you want to jump in on the May group, it's going to be the end of May. So definitely hit me up. Let me know. You can find the information in the show notes. I would love to have you. I would love to tackle all of these things that have been weighing on you that you feel like is just part of normal life. Let's just get rid of it. How about that? Let's just live our best lives. Okay, guys, have a fabulous Friday. I'll see you next week. I hope this podcast spoke to you in some way. If it did, please go ahead and leave me a review and subscribe so that I know you're enjoying what you hear. And further, if you know somebody else who owns their own creative business and struggles with anything that we spoke about, please pass this on, because it is my hope that we will be able to build a community of like-minded individuals who love on each other and appreciate the many facets that make our creative business so unique. And lastly, check out the show notes to find my free Facebook community and other useful links to work with me. All right, friend, see you soon.